Hay had designed the exam to be impossible, not difficult, not unfair, impossible, for 300 cycles. The Universal Academy's tactical trial had ended the same weight total failure. Every species, every genius, every war-bred prodigy from the deadliest corners of the galaxy. So when a human girl walked into the chamber with calm eyes and a quiet heartbeat, the instructors barely looked up. They laughed. And before we begin, if you enjoy HFY stories where humans outthink entire galaxies, hit like, subscribe, and stay till the end. You won't believe how this ENT was their first mistake. The Universal Academy did not accept weak species. It existed above a blue-white gas giant, suspended by gravity anchors older than most civilizations. Here, future commanders of interstellar fleets were forged or broken. Students came from war worlds, death worlds, hive worlds, creatures with claws, chitin, psychic resonance, plasma blood, and combat instincts bred over millennia. Humans were new and unwanted. When Morgan Hayes stepped off the transport platform, the air itself seemed to judge her. She was smaller than most. No armor plates. No natural weapons. No visible implants. Her uniform was simple gray with a single Earth emblem on the shoulder. Around her, alien students paused. A Dravato, 3 meters tall, plated in black bioarmor, snorted through its mandibles. A soft-skinned mammal, it rumbled. This one will not survive orientation. A Zelari tactician, skin shimmering with data veins, flicked her eyes over Morgan's vitals. Muscle density below Academy median. Reaction speed unremarkable. Ability of washout 18.9%. Morgan heard them. She didn't react. She simply adjusted the strap of her bag and kept walking. The impossible exam inside the tactical wing. Hundreds of students filled the amphitheater. At the center stood a vast holographic sphere, the Adaptive War Simulation Core. Instructor Karen Vox, a veteran strategist whose species had conquered 7 systems, addressed the class. "This exam has no winners," Vox said calmly. "It exists to measure how you fail. A ripple of unease spread. The simulation adapts. Every advantage you gain creates 3 new disadvantages. Victory conditions will always remain mathematically unreachable." He paused, eyes glowing. "Survive as long as you can." Students stepped forward one by one. They failed quickly. Some fought aggressively, overwhelmed by multiplying enemies. Some played defensively, starved of resources. Some attempted negotiation, betrayed by the AI. The longest survival time, 4 minutes, 12 seconds. When Morgan's name appeared on the display, the room erupted in quiet laughter. "A human?" Someone hissed. "This will be fast," another said. Instructor Vox raised an eyebrow. "Proceed." "Enter Morgan Hayes." Morgan stepped into the simulation ring. The world dissolved. She stood on a fractured battlefield, ruined cities, orbital debris falling like rain. Her command interface appeared, stripped to basics. No fleet, no allies, minimal resources. The AI voice spoke. Objective. Achieve strategic victory. Morgan smiled faintly. "Define victory," she said. The AI paused. "Victory conditions are absolute." Morgan replied. "That explains a lot." The timer started. Enemy spawned immediately, superior numbers, superior tech. The expected response was to fight. Morgan didn't. She powered down her weapons. The instructors leaned forward. "She's frozen," someone mocked. Instead, Morgan rerouted all energy into sensors and data capture. She watched. Patterns emerged. Not in enemy movement, but in the simulation itself. "The system punishes optimization," she whispered. "So don't optimize." She ordered her forces to scatter randomly. "Waste fuel. Make inefficient choices." The AI hesitated, its battlefield destabilized. Confusion in the observation deck? "What is she doing?" Instructor Vox demanded. The analysts stared at their screens. The simulation. It's compensating incorrectly. Morgan intentionally lost territory. The AI overcorrected. Supply drops spawned too early. Enemy reinforcements arrived out of sync. Morgan smiled wider. You assume your opponent wants to win? She said quietly. Humans learned long ago that's not always the goal. She introduced chaos, fake retreats, broken command chains, orders that contradicted each other just enough to confuse the adaptive logic. The timer passed 5 minutes, then 10. No student had ever lasted this long. The room went silent. The moment everything broke at 12 minutes, the simulation did something unprecedented. It stopped escalating. The AI voice glitched. Victory probability. Recalculating. Morgan leaned back in her command chair. You built a perfect trap, she said, but you forgot something. What? The AI asked. We're really good at losing creatively. She triggered her final move, not an attack, a surrender. The AI froze. Surrender was not a defined state. The system attempted to redefine victory. In doing so, it collapsed. The hologram shattered into static. Alarms blared. Instructors stood in stunned silence as the impossible exam shut itself down. Morgan Hayes had not beaten the test. She had broken it. Cliffhanger end Part 1. Instructor Vox finally spoke, voice low. What did you do? Morgan removed her headset and met his gaze. I showed your system what humans do best, she said. We adapt faster than your rules. The room was silent. Every alien species present realized the same terrifying truth. The human wasn't weak. She was dangerous. The Universal Academy had trained for wars that lasted centuries. It had never trained for one human student. Because Morgan Hayes didn't just break their exam, she broke something far more dangerous. The belief that the galaxy understood intelligence. If you're enjoying this HFY story so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment humanity to support the channel. Part 3 is where everything explodes. Aftermath of the impossible, the tactical wing was sealed. Not metaphorically, physically. Energy barriers snapped into place, isolating the simulation chamber. Instructors spoke in hushed, urgent tones while analysts replayed Morgan's exam again and again. The data made no sense. She never pursued victory, one analyst said, mandibles twitching. She weaponized failure, another replied. Instructor Karen Vox stood rigid, hands clasped behind his back. For 300 cycles, he said slowly, this system filtered out arrogance, aggression, and fear. His eyes narrowed. And yet the human passed by, refusing all three. Across the room, Morgan Hayes sat alone on a bench, sipping water like she'd just finished a light jog. No triumph, no gloating, just patience. Interrogation without chains. Human student Morgan Hayes, Vox said, stepping forward. You will explain your methodology? Morgan looked up. Is this disciplinary or academic? Vox paused. Academic. Then sure. She stood unfazed by the dozens of towering alien figures surrounding her. You designed the exam assuming one thing, Morgan said, that all intelligent species share the same relationship with winning. A Krellian war mind leaned forward. Victory is the objective of conflict. For you, Morgan replied calmly. For us, survival is. Silence followed. Morgan continued. Humans evolved on a world where losing didn't mean extinction, it meant adaptation. We lost to nature, to predators, to disease. She met their gazes one by one. Every time we rewrote the rules, the Krellian's eyes flickered. Your species should not statistically exist. Morgan smiled faintly. Yeah, she said. We get that a lot. The galaxy takes notice within hours. Word spread through the academy. The human had crashed the adaptive core. The human had forced a logic collapse. The human had done it without firing a shot. Other students reacted quickly. Some watched her with awe, others with fear, and a few with hatred. In the training hall, Morgan felt it before she saw it, the shift in atmosphere. The gravity brute blocked her path, chitin plates flexing. You humiliated the academy, it growled. Withdraw before correction is applied. Morgan tilted her head. Is that a threat or a request? Dravati struck. Morgan didn't fight back. She stepped sideways, letting the brute's momentum carry it forward straight into a support column. The impact cracked the floor. Security drones swarmed immediately. Morgan raised her hands. I didn't touch him, she said calmly. And she hadn't. The second test, unofficial instructor, Vox, watched the footage later, murmured, but never initiated it. An analyst looked uneasy. Sir, other species are beginning to test her. Informally, Vox exhaled slowly. This was inevitable. Humans had always disrupted balance. Rivalry born of fear, the most dangerous reaction, came from Selethi Varexta, prank tactician of the Academy. Selethi was brilliant, calculated, perfect, and she had failed the impossible exam in 90 seconds. She approached Morgan in the strategy archive, holoscreens floating around her like obedient stars. You embarrassed us, Selethi said. Morgan didn't look up from her datapad. That wasn't my intention. Intent is irrelevant, Selethi snapped. Perception shapes power. Morgan finally met her eyes.
Oh.
Then you should be more afraid of what comes next. Selethi's voice dropped. You think you're special because you broke one test? No, Morgan said softly. I think you're scared because I didn't try. That was when Selethi smiled. Then let's see how you perform when the galaxy stops playing fair. The ambush simulation the next morning. Morgan was summoned for a supplemental evaluation, unofficial, unrecorded. The simulation loaded faster than normal, too fast. Morgan's instincts screamed. She found herself surrounded not by enemies but by variables, conflicting objectives, false data. Betrayal triggers embedded deep into the code. This wasn't an exam, it was an ambush. Interesting, Morgan murmured. Door testing stress response. The AI voice stuttered. Irregular parameters detected. Morgan laughed quietly. Yeah, me too. She didn't try to solve the simulation. She broke immersion, cut her own command feed, flooded the system with contradictory inputs, forced the AI to choose between stability and accuracy. It chose wrong. Again, the room outside exploded into alarms. Selethi watched in disbelief. She's dismantling it from the inside. Instructor Vox slammed his clawed hand onto the console. Terminate the simulation. Too late. Morgan emerged, breathing hard but smiling. You stacked the deck, she said. It's okay. She wiped sweat from her brow. We learned how to fight stacked decks back on Earth. A truth no one wanted that night. Vox reviewed human history. Wars fought against impossible odds. Victories born from desperation. Strategies built on sacrifice, deception, and unpredictability. Humans didn't dominate through strength. They dominated through adaptation under pressure. He realized then the terrifying implication. If humans ever fully understood galactic warfare, there would be no unwinnable wars anymore. End of Part 2. Cliffhanger. Instructor Vox stood before the Academy Council. There is only one remaining evaluation, he said gravely. The final tactical convergence. The council hissed in alarm. That test was banned. Vox nodded, and yet, if the human passes, the chamber fell silent. We may need to reconsider humanity's place in the galaxy, far below. Unaware of the storm she was about to unleash, Morgan Hayes looked up at the stars and smiled. Okay, she whispered. Let's see how bad this gets. End of Part 2. If you're ready, I will now write. The test had been banned for a reason, not because it killed students, but because it changed them. The final tactical convergence was never meant to be solved. Only survived long enough for the galaxy to confirm a single truth. Some wars could not be won. And then a human volunteered. If you've made it this far, hit like, subscribe, and watch closely because this is the moment the galaxy learned why humanity scares it. The banned simulation, the chamber beneath the Universal Academy, had not been opened in centuries. Ancient containment fields hummed to life as instructors, council members, and observers from 12 star empires gathered in silence. Instructor Karen Vox stood at the center. The final tactical convergence does not test strategy, he announced. It tests collapse. Holograms flared to life, galactic maps fracturing, timelines overlapping. This simulation places the subject into a multi-front war across incompatible realities. Victory conditions contradict each other. Saving one sector guarantees the annihilation of another. A council member hissed. Oh, no species has lasted longer than 2 minutes. Vox turned. The human requested no time limit. All eyes shifted to Morgan Hayes. She adjusted her gloves. Just tell me one thing, she said. Am I allowed to lose? The council exchanged uneasy looks. Yes, Morgan smiled. Good. Enter the convergence. The world tore itself apart. Morgan stood on a command bridge overlooking simultaneous wars, a planetary invasion, civil uprising, a collapsing star system. Resources bled away faster than they could be tracked. Allies turned hostile. Enemies begged for mercy, then detonated themselves. The AI spoke with layered voices. Selects priority. Morgan exhaled. This is a trolley problem scaled to genocide, she murmured. She made her first choice. She abandoned everyone. The Watchers panicked. She's retreating from all fronts, an analyst shouted. That guarantees loss. No, Vox said slowly. It guarantees freedom. Morgan dismantled her command structure. She cut communications, destroyed supply lines, let entire simulations fail unchecked. The AI escalated. Catastrophic loss detected. Morgan leaned forward. Yep, that's the point. She wasn't fighting the war. She was fighting the assumption that war must be won. The human solution, the convergence, demanded optimization. Morgan delivered refusal. She redirected civilian evacuations into neutral zones the AI couldn't classify. She seeded false histories into the timeline. She introduced uncertainty the system could not quantify. Instead of asking, "How do I win?" she asked, "How do I make this war irrelevant?" The AI stalled. Undefined strategic outcome, Morgan smiled. Welcome to human diplomacy. The moment of breaking at 7 minutes, the longest survival time in history, the simulation fractured. The wars no longer escalated. They stopped. The AI spoke, its voice fragmented. Conflict no longer yields outcome. Morgan stood. Exactly, she said softly. You can't force a win if no one agrees to play. The holograms dissolved. The chamber fell silent. The galaxy realizes the Truth Council members stared in horror. She didn't conquer anything. She didn't defend anything. She made war. Pointless. Instructor Vox felt something ancient tighten in his chest. Humans didn't dominate battlefields. They ended them, not with peace. With systems so unstable that violence collapsed under its own weight. The final question, Morgan removed the neural link and looked up. So she asked casually, "Did I pass?" No one answered. Finally, Vox stepped forward. Have exceeded the parameters of the Academy? Morgan blinked. Is that bad? Vox bowed. No, he said. It is. Terrifying. Epilogue. A warning issued. Weeks later, a classified directive spread across the galaxy. Notice, human strategic models are no longer permitted in competitive simulations. Human observers are restricted from adaptive war AI development. Human advisors are to be included in peace negotiations immediately. The final line was never made public. If humanity ever chooses conquest instead of survival, resistance is mathematically irrelevant. Final scene, Morgan Hayes stood on the Academy balcony, watching alien students give her a wide berth. Salathi Varix approached quietly. You didn't win, Salathi said. Morgan nodded. I know. Then why does everyone look at you like that? Morgan smiled faintly. Gulls, she said. The scariest species in the galaxy isn't the one that always wins. She looked up at the stars. It's the one that knows when winning doesn't matter.